Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing these Artistro brush tip paint pens. Now the one thing I want to say is that I love a unique pen that I have never used before or I have never seen before, and so I have never worked with a brush tip paint pen. So I think that's super awesome and I can't wait to give you guys my opinion of these pens. So these pens come with a nylon brush tip that works similar to a paintbrush to create extra fine to medium to bold strokes. So anywhere from 1 to 3 millimeters. This unique nib is perfect for lettering, sketching, drawing, coloring, but my favorite is calligraphy because, like I've said before, I have never used a paint pen that has a flexible nib. These pens are ideal on multiple different surfaces. They have super pigmented ink, so you can create masterpieces on any surface like black paper, cardstock, rock, pottery, plastic, fabric, metal, treated woods, ceramics, glass, and much, much more. And I will test these out on a couple different surfaces so you guys can see how they work. These are also non-toxic and they have no odor, so they are perfect for kids and adults. So let's talk about getting started with the pens and how you want to basically activate them. So first off, especially with the metallics, you might notice that the metallic ink isn't coming out right away. So what you want to do is take a scrap piece of paper and basically scribble on it for a while to activate both the color and the metallic. So it's not just a basic color without the metallic shine. Once you start doing that, then the metallic shine will start coming out. Another way that you can activate the pen is by pushing on the nib at an angle, and that will basically get the ink flowing, and you'll notice that it's extra juicy when you start to use it that way. Now these pens come in a set of 16. It comes with 8 metallic colors and 8 basic colors as well. With the basic colors, it also includes a white color, which applies transparent, but it turns opaque once it dries, which I do love that because you do not see a ton of white brush pens. So that is super unique, and I like that you can use it on multiple different surfaces as well. Next, we will talk about how to store the pens. So first you want to store them horizontally. This will make remixing the color inside the marker easier between uses. You always want to avoid storing them vertically, especially with the nib facing down, because this makes it susceptible to clogging. I'm going to show you all the pens swatched out on Kraft paper. And this is another thing with regular brush pens, you would not get this opaque of a look. So I love that this is very opaque and it has kind of like a thick paint texture, which is really different from any other brush pens that I've worked with before. Now I will swatch them out onto black paper so you can see how they look. Now the metallics are more made for the black paper versus the regular basic colors, because the basic colors, typically even with a paint pen, you wouldn't use a paint pen on a black surface unless it was a non-porous surface. Then it would show up a little bit better. So as you can see, they do show up, but I'm just not going to say that they look the best on this black cardstock. They definitely look better on craft paper or white paper versus the black paper. Another thing about these pens which makes them unique is that since they are paint pens, you can layer them. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to make a bunch of different swatches so you can see which colors layer better on top. And they're very opaque too, so it's not like it's a watercolor look where you can layer it one on top of the other. It's very opaque, so it looks a lot different, and I will show you. You just have to make sure that when you're doing it, you let the layers dry in between. Okay, so now that those swatches have dried, I will apply some different colors on top. So you can see that anything on top of the yellow is going to show really well, just because obviously yellow is a lighter color. So this orange on top of the yellow looks really good, and there's like no transparency between the orange and the yellow. Now with the yellow on top of the green, it's not as great just because the green is a darker color, but you can still see the yellow on top of the green, which is so awesome, and I love that because it just gives you a totally different look. I'm gonna make a few different color swatches so you guys can see different colors on top of one another, and you can compare it for yourself and see what you like best. So again, with this, you want to make sure that those swatch squares are completely dry before you start writing over them. Otherwise, the ink will pick up a little bit, and I think that's what happened in the last one, is that the green square wasn't completely dry, and so the orange rubbed off and picked up some of the green pen. So make sure it's dry before you start to layer on top of one another. Obviously, the darker over the lighter color is going to be the way to go, but as you can tell, you can still get some really cool effects with some of the colors layered on top that are kind of surprising. So experiment and see what color combinations you can come up with, and see how many different layers, because I only did 2 layers, so I think you can do a ton more layers on top of one another. Next, I'm going to show you a design that I put onto a glass mason jar to show you that the design can easily wash off, and I left that on for a good 3 or 4 days. So sometimes with pens it will stain, but with this you can see that I'm just taking a wet paper towel and it wipes right off. So I think it would be perfect for if you want to label mason jars or any kind of glass, because it easily wipes off so that you can use it for a different occasion as well. So let's just say I want to label this or put somebody's name on it. Let's just write Ava. And it writes perfectly. It's very opaque so you can see it. And then once you're done, then you can just wash it off with water or a wet paper towel. But that way it's perfect for multiple different uses and you can just keep reusing them on different surfaces. Next, I'm going to label my plastic container. This is where I store my pens, so I'm going to write pens on it. Not that anyone can't tell that there's pens in there, but it's better to be organized and label things these days. So I'm going to label it with pens, and it's nice and opaque. I'll just show you on the other side what it looks like with the metallic pen, so you can just compare it. And I just love how both are super vibrant and not transparent at all. Next, I'm going to be testing out a mirror surface. I'm going to decorate this as like a welcome sign. And first, what you want to do is, especially with a mirror or glass or any kind of surface like that, is you want to thoroughly wipe it down with a cloth. Because sometimes when you first get any kind of glass surface, it comes with like some sort of consistency over the top of it, like filmy layer, and so it makes the pens spread. So what you want to do is wipe it down really good with a wet paper towel or a wet cloth or something like that to just get off that thin layer of film, whatever might be over the top. So I apologize for the way this looks while I'm filming a mirror. It is so difficult to get a good video of a mirror. So I apologize in advance if this isn't the best. But I am using the white paint pen over the mirror, and I absolutely love the clean look of just the white. So I'm going to just draw some simple leaves around as a wreath or a border, and then I'm just going to write welcome in the middle. And it's a great way to fancy up any kind of mirror, and then also just remember it's washable, so you can wash it off once you're done, or if you make a mistake, and you can start all over again for a different occasion. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this review was helpful for you with these Artistro brush paint pens. Don't forget you can use my coupon code SarahStyle10 to save 10% off your purchase at artistro.com.